Hello, beautiful people of the interwebs. I am Mara, and I'm here to hopefully help you get through your ALS diagnosis in a not terribly super sad way. It's a sad diagnosis, but I'm going to try to have a playlist that you can do what I do at night. You can watch it and not, I mean, your whole life is ALS, so you're like, do I want to watch something before I go to bed every night? But I do find some channels that I really enjoy to just give me some information without overwhelming me. And so I get a little bit more educated in it because there's so much to know to survive this thing. But it's like a fire hose at the beginning of information. So I don't want to contribute to that, but I want to try to make it palatable somehow, or I don't know, I just want to try to make it better. And we've learned so much, so I'm going to try to do one every so often. No editing really, because there's, as you know, no time for something like that. But at least maybe I can impart the stuff we've learned that we think is the most important looking back. And they're not in order, unfortunately. This is just the easiest one for me because I have all the props, and easy is what I'm going to start with. So today I would like to show you the different trach types, because they were all probably explained to us at one point, but what came out of the fire hose for us was, okay, there's a cuff and there's a not a cuff. But actually there are so many different types. There's cuffs that are low profile, so when you put them in, you don't even feel them. It's just, I mean, there's a cuff on that, but you can't see it. There's cuffs that are not low profile, the shyly. So, I mean, there's just so much to learn about the different types of trachs, or just to know that there are so many options out there. It's so important when you're thinking about getting a trach, or you just got a trach and you're like, oh, this feels so uncomfortable. Maybe one of these options will help you. So what I just want to run through with you today is the one that was magical for us is the Bavona Portex. TTS is the key. TTS for some reason means low profile. So I'm gonna, by the way, I'm not a doctor, I'm not an RT. I am, and I won't use all the completely proper terms, but I'm just going to get you from here to there. So that's my goal. So the TTS is the key, and flexible. That word has to be in the trach. And here's what it looks like. I don't know where I don't do this very well. So yes, it is flexible. It gets even more flexible in your body. It actually warms up and it's even better. And the thing about these though is, I believe you have to get them as high pressure, low, I forget the other word, see what I mean? But when you inflate it, it's like, it's not meant for long-term use basically, but it really is a good way to like stop the saliva from getting down there. You can see how much that inflated. I just that was putting 6 milliliters in. So it really stops the saliva. It doesn't hurt going in, but it is not meant for long-term use. So you don't want this inflated high on high, or for a lot, for a long time. I wish I could remember the other word. High pressure, low. I'm gonna edit that back in. Anyway, so that's that. The other side of the fence is the shyly, which is much cheaper. It's much more affordable. But you know, this thing is going in your throat. So I figure if there's a way you can get the comfortable one, if it changes things for you, just try to get it, or try it out. If the other one is just not working for you, just try it. Insurance might not pay for it, but I think it's like $70 more once a month, which could be a lot, but if it makes you comfortable, you know, just try to figure that out. And our insurance ended up in the end actually paying for it, so maybe you can make that work for you too. But I just want to show you what this looks like inflated, so that you'll see it's high pressure, low volume. So this is high volume, low pressure. So you'll see, like, it looks like it'd probably be a little more, once it's inside, it kind of looks like it would be a little more effective in there, and you could probably have it on a little longer maybe, because it's not such high pressure, like really pushing on the walls of your trachea. It's just that. So this is a Shiley. I don't know if you can see numbers and stuff there, if it's even important, but anyway, so that lets you have a little more, I think, effectiveness in there, but it hurts going in. At least for our patient, it was very, my husband is our patient. It's very painful to get over this hump there. When you put these two things have to get over that little slit they made, and for him, it's very painful. So the low profile one is so much better for him. And it is effective. I don't mean to say that it's not. It definitely keeps the saliva out when we inflate it to the max that we're allowed to. So, and so here are, you can also get, so those don't have intercannulas. These flexible ones do not have intercannulas. So you really do have to get it replaced fairly often, although we've heard of people not getting it replaced for like 8 months, but we try to do it every 4 to 6 weeks because there's no intercannula to kind of help you keep that stuff clean. Here's what an intercannula looks like, by the way. This is a fenestrated trach. I don't know if I mentioned that has windows in it. Fenestrated, I think, is French for window. Fenestra. Anyway, windows, and they let you suction in there. Suction, like, so this is in your throat, so you can actually get to things that sit, like if the secretions build up here, you can get them out. You have a fighting chance that way with a hole there. And this is what an intercannula looks like. And these are disposable. You can also wash them, but they kind of, it's better to just dispose them if you can get a supply. Some insurances don't like to give you disposable things, pay for disposable things. They'd rather you have the more permanent things. So we were lucky, ours did pay for them, so we had these for a long time. This type it's pretty tricky to get in. We had this for almost a year, I think, and you have to pinch and push, and meanwhile it's in your tray, you know, it's kind of painful. So here's another type. Yes.
Oh, here.
Oh, very cool. I will be there in 2 minutes. And here's another kind. It is the kind you pull out. Like, it's kind of like a Coke bottle, or I don't know, a milk carton. I think also hard, but it seems a little bit easier than the other one. You just push it in. When you push it in, you kind of put it in like this. It's hard. It's hard. The patient, you're like trying not to wiggle it, but it's hard. So another point in favor for the Bavona Portex TTS, I believe. I'm not like getting money from them or anything. It's just was really helped my husband. And what else here did I want to show you? This is a no cuff, by the way, fenestrated no cuff. Okay, so you got a lot of options. This is actually a custom trach, which we thought would be just like the Bavona. But we could pick the dimensions, but it turns out it's a lot harder. It's not as flexible, and it has you can customize the curve, but we could not get it right. This curve is not right for my husband. It was very painful. And this part's a little sticky. We're not sure what the purpose of that is, but so it has a cuff, and you can't see it because it's a low profile, so it goes in easily, but it just did not work for my husband. So, and just one more thing, we went to great lengths to get a cuff later because everything you read says get one of these, you don't want to mess up. And I'm sure it's true. Like, if you can get it to, if you can get your trach to work with air, we could not. Our Bavona TTS Portex thing, air just comes out of it for some reason. We've tried a couple times, and I don't know. So we have to use sterile water for my husband. But these things apparently are really great if they give you like the range, if you can use air, which we could I experimented on the other ones, one of these other ones, I forget, and it did work, but the one we use now is this one. So well, I guess the point of all that rambling was these are probably good, but do not work with these, at least in our experience. Maybe there's a trick we don't know. That's very possible. So that is most of what I wanted to go over, and hope it helps you. But just know that there are a lot of options, and I'm sure we were told that at some point, but it didn't register with us. So it was a little bit of a rough go until we found the trach that worked for my husband. And just know too that getting that right, getting the cuff inflation just the right place is really important, and it affects humidity. It affects the humidity in the lungs, the moisture in the lungs. It affects if it gets dry on top. Like, are you going to get, if it's too dry, if it's too inflated for too long, it's blocking this airway. This part gets dry, and the upper part gets dry and dries up your secretions, and they sit on top. And we try to avoid that because it makes for a really hard, we call it cuff clearing in the morning or in the evening. We do it about twice a day usually. But yeah, what happens no matter what, when you have the cuff inflated, it's going to get, your secretions are going to sit on top, and whether they're dry or not depends on how good you are at regulating all that stuff. Looking at the leak number, looking at the cuff inflation, looking at the humidifier settings, and just how often are you having to get rain out. That's an indicator. You just got to factor all those things in and make an educated guess at what has to be adjusted to make your patient happy and comfortable. But yeah, once you get the hang of that, it actually does become a lot easier. And but anyway, even if you do all those things perfectly correctly, you'll still get secretion sitting up here, and you'll have to clear it. At least that's our experience, basically once a day, twice a day. So when you deflate the cuff, all those secretions go down, and they're trying to get into the lungs. So we're trying, as soon as we deflate, we start cough assist and suctioning. So they kind of slide down there, and we catch them. We try to catch them when they're down here and not like all down in the lungs, but it's a trick. So we do that twice a day, and that really kind of keeps us out of trouble. If we do it once a day and we get all the settings right, it's okay, but twice a day is safer if your patient's up for it. But that is basically all I had to say about that. I hope it's helpful. I hope all the random stuff is okay with you, and hopefully I'll be a little more organized in future videos and a little bit more informative too. And I hope you guys all have a great day, and good luck to you. I know this is a rough diagnosis, but you have a lot of best friends right now. You have a huge hearted, amazing community who is just dying to help you because they know what horror you've just been handed, and it is the worst. It is just the worst. Any doctor will tell you. And we're here as a team. We're all gonna try to get these treatments that are looking really promising working. Some of them in other patients, we're gonna try to roll those out. That's a whole nother episode. But please know that there is hope, and it's not all horrible. There's a lot of horribleness, but there's also some hope. So please hang in there. We'll be praying for you. We'll be thinking about you. And lots of love from us to you. Thanks. Bye.